It all starts with just one thing. Glass jars can be reused to store food and spices, as a holder for combs and brushes in the bathroom, or as a container for plants and homemade candles, in addition to simply being recycled. Find tips and more at onethingus.com.
New Year's resolutions. We've all made them. Mine is the same every year. Eat healthier. The eat part usually works out fine. It's the healthier part I forget about. But not anymore, now that I've found the oh-so-chocolatey Built Bar. Built Bars are low-cal, low-sugar, high-protein, high-fiber. Great for keto. Lose or maintain weight while indulging in a yummy treat. At 130 calories, you'll feel like making a resolution every day. Try all 18 amazing flavors. Get yours at BuiltBar.com.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge, so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you are ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in socially distanced dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
Follow us anytime on Twitter. Our handle is @CBS Sports Radio.
You've got the winning run on second base. You've got three very good outfielders ready to deploy their arms, a very good base runner in Dansby Swanson, one of the best closers to ever do it in the postseason on the hill, and Eddie Rosario, who is 3 for 4. He stands at the plate, and you can't pitch around him because Freddie Freeman, though he's been a little cold, stands on deck. So let's do it. Here's the first pitch from Jansen. He does that little shimmy on the mound, winds up, and the first pitch is swung on, and it is rifled back up the middle. It's going to score. It's going to, Dansby Swanson's going to come around. It came off the glove. The Braves win. The Braves win. The Braves win.
We live in a world now that welcomes and nurtures the screwball in all of us. Hey, it's a new decade, people. Time to get a little nutty. Treat yourself to Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey, a smooth flavor that combines two of America's favorites, peanut butter and American whiskey. So no more social awkwardness. Time to embrace who you truly are. Get out there and make friends. And be sure it starts with Screwball Peanut Butter Whiskey. It's available nearly everywhere. Learn more at screwballwhiskey.com. Infidium Spirits. Please enjoy responsibly.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by Ed's Almost Good Beer. Remember, Ed's Almost Good Beer was brewed in God's country when God wasn't looking.
Get your Sunday football morning started off right with the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Your Sunday morning kickoff show where we tackle your NFL lines out in the desert, a 61.2% win rate over the last 6 years. Against the spread, over, under, money line, you name it. And we dive into the world of fantasy football year-long in your DFS payouts. Your only true Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy in your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Sundays, all NFL season long.
Man, I almost bought this for myself, but I wanted to be fair. Check out, say what you want about this Offer Up app, but oh my God, they got steals. I mean, look at this couch. It's only lightly squirted on for $10. That's unbelievable. And they say lightly squirted on, but check this out. Look at the picture of the couch. If that's the couch you get, that's so much squirt for only $10.
The automotive industry has a long history of naming vehicles after celestial bodies, objects, and phenomena like Taurus, Celica, Vega, Nova, Eclipse, etc. Now, new from Ford Yoda comes the all-new Uranus. The Uranus by Ford Yoda is a large but shapely hatchback with a beautiful and spacious passenger cabin. So there will always be plenty of room for all your friends in Uranus. Oh, and just a heads up, many of our Ford Yoda dealers are currently undergoing renovations this week. So if you want to see Uranus for yourself, you'll have to use the back door.
Imagine being drafted into the NFL, but not knowing about it until 55 years later. That is exactly what happened to Norm Michael. Michael was drafted in the 20th round of the 1944 NFL draft out of Syracuse to the Eagles. But the Eagles could not locate him. And that's because he was serving in World War II, not to mention he was also involved in the Battle of Normandy. And it wasn't until 55 years later in 1999 when he was reading a local newspaper that listed Syracuse NFL draftees on it. And what do you know? To his surprise, there he was. Maybe he could still get that signing bonus.
Girls be like, oh, nobody loves me, I'm ugly.
Y'all heard him. Y'all heard him. He loves me. I'm beautiful and he loves me. And we're in a relationship. So I ain't been on this diet but 6 days and done got a man. Armchair.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, and flat out deceived.
There's something kind of about a kid that's never played baseball.
But what the hell, boy?
Make sure to listen to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Good enough for us down here in the bayou. Go Tigers and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Good Armchair. YouTube Live.
CBS Sports Radio Station.
The radio station you can call your own. Listeners like about our station? It's everything. I like everything. It's always on my radio. We never stop the music, except for now, when I talk.
Good morning. It's time to wake up, y'all. You're listening to the Armchair Quarterback Show. We're here weekdays on CBS Radio, YouTube Live, the Armchair Quarterback Show. First choice for Southern Sports Talk. Good morning, Mr. Joey Ariola.
Good morning, Mr. Mack. I don't know what, actually, I should say afternoon. We're changing times. My mind's still not there, but Chase Claypool, get your stuff together. You signal a first down under 30 seconds. Don't disrespect the Notre Dame brains like that. We don't win national championships. Keep it together.
Hi, I'm Mac McGinn. I don't know much, but I know one thing. Actually, I know two things. A, I need to change the intro because we're going to the evenings now. And B, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Minnesota Vikings proved to everybody last night why they could not beat the Detroit Lions.
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man.
Yeah, howdy, hi, top of the morning to you. Nope, top of the evening to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. We're not used to doing this in the evening, so we're going to have to get our feet wet here tonight. First time we have done a live radio broadcast on the Armchair Quarterbacks since, I believe the year was 2018 when we did it way back when. So there you have that, and away we go. Joey, how the hell are you this morning or this evening, sir?
I know. Hey, I keep getting confused. I'm eating breakfast for dinner, dinner for breakfast. I don't know what's going on, but honestly, it's good. Obviously we're getting away a little from the college scene right now until the playoffs start. So it's playoff hunt season. I'm glad you mentioned that Lions not being able to, the Steelers or Vikings, get over them, because last night's game was the epitome of two teams who looked like they could not beat the Detroit Lions, and they did not this season.
Yeah, that was a really strange game. About the time I was ready to turn the damn thing off, all of a sudden here they come roaring back, them being the Pittsburgh Steelers, and made it a game and made it a really close game, and much closer than it should have been. And then, of course, your boy Claypool goes and does his nonsense. He tried to defend it. Did you see him after the game? He tried to defend like he didn't do anything wrong. For people who don't know what we're talking about, he ate up so much time at the end of the game on the last drive, like 36 seconds left. They get a first down, and he's doing the getting up on one knee and doing the first down. Anyways, the ball gets knocked around. It takes him a few extra seconds to get the ball in place. He easily cost his team 10 seconds right there.
Oh, without question. Like you said, it was at 36, 37 seconds. And he tried to say, well, the ref wasn't coming to me anyway. You run to the referee in those situations, my friend. How long have we been playing football? You don't wait for the ref to run to you. You don't get your first down signal. Nobody cares about your first down signal, because guess what? You lost the ball game. The Vikings should have pointed to the scoreboard when he was doing that.
An absolute putz. I mean, an absolute putz. And I don't care what he tries to do, what he tries to defend it. There's no defending what he did. There's no defending what he did. And it is an absolute disaster. But that's where we're at. And look, the Vikings got a much needed win. They don't get that win, they've got some big time problems. And then, of course, the Steelers, you look at the Steelers' schedule, losing that game last night, it doesn't eliminate them. The way that they had it broken down last night, pregame I was watching, it was basically showing that the last 5 games they needed to win 3. Well, they didn't win 1 last night, right? So if you look at the Steelers' schedule right now, and I'm going to pull it up really quick.
Ooh, it's ugly.
It is. It is an ugly, ugly schedule. That's why they desperately needed that win last night against Minnesota, but they didn't get it. So what you have is Titans at the Chiefs, Browns at the Ravens. The key to it, they need to win at least one of those Browns and Ravens games. Okay? They lose both of those games. It doesn't matter what they do against the Titans and Chiefs. It's a wrap. Okay? What in a perfect world would be for them would be to split the Titans and Chiefs and sweep the Browns and Ravens is what they've really put. That's what they've really put because I feel like you have to win the Browns game because it's at home. You're probably going to have to beat the Ravens because it's probably going to have something to do with whether or not the Ravens get in the playoffs or you. That's the way it feels.
And, can I ask you a question about the Steelers team, Mac? A lot of people talk all the time about Big Ben needs to retire. He's the problem. But doesn't it seem like there's a whole lot of problems outside of Big Ben Roethlisberger, who actually led them to a comeback? That defense, Dalvin Cook would go untouched for 30 yards on at least 3 plays I watched last night.
Yeah. Their run defense was ranked 8th worst in the NFL going into last night. And I'm sure after that, they had to have plummeted much further down. But what I saw was, first of all, I do believe, and I'm going to give credit where credit's due, Troy Aikman was the first one to bring it up. That Ravens game took a lot out of them, and I mean a lot out of them. I feel like that game was very, very physical, and you then had to play a game 4 games later, okay? Or excuse me, 4 days later. That was a big problem. And I just felt like they got bullied. They finally woke up in the second half. The defense played a little better, but I also feel like this. There was some boneheaded play calling by Minnesota with a huge lead. Like, what the hell were they doing throwing the interception that brought it all the way back that got Pittsburgh within a touchdown, right? Why are you throwing there? There was just under 5 minutes left in the game. It was 3rd and long. Run the damn thing up the middle, which, oh, by the way, you've been feasting on.
Yes.
And punt him and just nail him deep. It didn't make any sense. So instead, they get a pick that was almost a pick six, and Pittsburgh gets to set up shop inside the Minnesota 30-yard line, and away you go, and they get a touchdown a few plays later. What kind of stupidity was that?
Oh, when this game comes down to it, the Steelers, even though they lost, they should go shake Kirk Cousins' hand, and they should go shake Mike Zimmer's hand, because really, if it's not for Harrison Smith, we're in a 36-34 ball game with a 2-point conversion to go. That's how close it got at the end there. So
here's the other thing: 29-20. Why the hell did they go for it on two? Go for two on the after the touchdown. You don't do that. I don't care what your analytic team is telling you. The way I looked at it was this: it was 29-0. You made it 29-14, then 29-20. You kicked that extra point. There's like 10 minutes left in the game. And you know what happens? I think it was 9 and some change. You know what happens there? Man, you start looking around, you're going, oh man, we're only about to score now. They didn't get that 2-point conversion. They did Minnesota a favor. They absolutely just laid it up and said, well, now you're up by 2 scores, and now you can really run the ball into the line.
They must have not learned a thing from when Harbaugh did it last week and Lamar Jackson choked on the pass, because these 2-point conversions by analytic people, come on now, let's just play the basic game of football. Kick an extra point, make it a 1-possession game. Why would you take the risk of going down 2 possessions with 10 minutes to go?
I didn't get any of the philosophies. I didn't get a single damn one of them. And it's just absolutely pathetic. Let's go ahead and start the first quarter as we finished up batting practice, talking about the Viking-Steelers game. That look, it's gonna be huge. I believe that there's a very good chance the Steeler Nation is going to be looking back at that game come the beginning of January and say, if we just would have won that damn game. And Minnesota has positioned themselves back in the hunt. They still have got a lot of work to do, but they are back in the hunt. And looking at Minnesota real quick, since we did go over the Steelers really quick, they're at the Bears, home against the Rams, at the Packers, home against the Bears. So they got 2 gimmies almost against the Bears and the Packers, right? Against the Bears and the Bears. If you're a playoff football team, you got to sweep them.
Yep.
That takes you to 8-7. I think if you split the Rams and Packers and get you to 9-8, that might get you in.
I was going to say the same exact thing. If you are truly a playoff team, which a lot of people think Minnesota with the talent they have is, you sweep the Bears and you split the other 2. It's that simple.
And guess when they play the Rams? In Minnesota, the day after Christmas. West Coast, East, almost East Coast, Midwest, but it's a 1:00 kickoff.
Hey, that's your favorite
day after
thing.
Christmas?
Woo,
man! I don't know. That could almost be a layup.
Santa might be giving out coal that day.
I mean, come on. All right, let's go. Let's get into the first quarter. Before we go any further, we do want to pay our respects to Demaryius Thomas. Tragic, awful tragedy last night. Demaryius Thomas, for folks that may or may not remember, was a wide receiver for the Broncos for years. Hell of a wide receiver. In fact, we talk a lot of fantasy football on this show, and he was one of your better fantasy wide receivers. It hasn't been that long ago. He was on the Denver championship team with Peyton Manning. He's the one that caught the famous pass from Tebow against the Steelers in overtime. Yep. I was just, when I saw it, the first thing you wanted to go to was, well, what happened? And evidently it was from what I've seen, and you might, if you've seen something different, fair enough. But from what I've seen, they just think it was medical, that it was anything, that there was no foul play. There wasn't like an OD. There wasn't, any kind of craziness, that he just had enough of this whole world.
Yeah, and I heard the same stuff with medical, and let me say, obviously, me and you aren't, close to the guy. We don't know him personally, but everything I've heard today, everything I've been reading, this is a good dude, 33 years old. He had a tribute to his mom, I believe, a couple years in the playoffs, which was just, or not a couple, but a few now, but he's been on ESPN doing shows and stuff, and a lot of people has spoke on his behalf today. And let me say, it's truly disappointing for the National Football League at 33 years old, especially when you hear health related, no self-induced, nothing happened there. Not that any way to go is right, but you just feel really bad for a young guy and a good guy at this point, because it's a shame he should still be playing, quite honestly, instead of this happening.
Yeah, it's just an absolute travesty. And well, there's not a whole lot we can say about it, mainly because we don't know enough about it, but they're calling it a medical issue. He passed away in his home in Roswell, Georgia. And we just want to give thoughts and prayers out to the family and, his friends. People always forget about the friends. The friends are just as devastated as family members are. I've had some really close friends pass away recently, and, everyone just kind of forgets how hard it hits the people who are close to them, whether they're blood related or not. It is a tough thing. He played as recently as 2019 with the New York Jets, played for the Patriots and the Jets. So in 2019, so Super Bowl champion, 4-time Pro Bowler, and
you mentioned that Tebow play. That's a play.
I'll always remember that play.
Always. That is.
I always remember where I was. I was randomly in a buddy's house. Good friend of mine, Stu. We were in his house in Middle Tennessee, and see, it was 20. What year was that?
I think it was 2011 or 2012. It was because I was a sophomore. I'm going to go 2011, 2012 season is my best guess.
I think I saw 2012 for some reason. I think I saw that. Well, I do believe.
But why do you think it's so memorable? Because was it Tebow?
Well, it was Tebow. Everyone hated Tebow. Everyone was against Tebow. We were pulling for him.
Same here.
I can't remember if he had become a Tennessee fan at that point or not, but he had been a Gator fan his entire life until right around that time period. It's a long story we won't get into now, but we were pulling for Tebow. We were also pulling against the Steelers. Let's be honest.
Oh yeah.
And even though we knew that whoever won that game was going to go play New England, well, dude, Tebow's going to get smoked.
And he did.
It was pathetic. But the way the play happened, because it was 80 yards out the gate in overtime, and he is just streaking down the field. I think it jumps out as most for a couple of reasons. A, it's against the Steelers. B, it was Tebow. And C, most importantly, it was a sudden death win in the playoffs. You don't get that a lot. Usually a sudden death play in the playoffs is something non-dramatic. They bumble into the end zone, they kick a game-winning field goal that's a chip shot, that kind of thing. That was dramatic, and I'll always remember where I was. We were standing in his kitchen doing shot after shot. And I'm
surprised you remember.
And well, you've never drank with me. I have quite the condition. As a buddy of mine, famously joked for years. He said, well, I don't know what are you talking about, babe? How the hell did he put it? He said, Babe Ruth is the McGee of baseball, as opposed to how there's a drink. So and so is the Babe Ruth of drinking. So and so is the Babe Ruth of basketball. But he's like, no. Babe Ruth is the McGee of baseball. So I can put him down. We'll just put it there. But I don't know what it is about that entire area. They can all put him down. We all just get slobbered. But I remember doing the shots, and he hits that seam, and he's gone. And I remember just jumping around, and then we're all looking. Where's the flag?
Yeah.
That's the first thing. That's the one thing that I love.
You always look for the flag.
Yeah. That's the one thing that's always the Debbie Downer about football compared to like baseball. Like when a guy jacks it out of the stadium, Dude, you ain't got to worry about some flag coming out on the field. Well, his foot was over the line, so that home run didn't count. Yeah, it's gone. Or base hit and the guy scores. And, you're not worried about it getting called back. But with football, you're all looking for the flag, and then of course, now that they've got the little thing that pops up on the screen, you're looking for that damn thing to pop up.
I think at least the last 20 plays I've watched with my pops and my brother in a football game were like, wait a minute. Don't celebrate yet. Look for the yellow in the bottom right corner, or look for the yellow thrown late on the field, because half the time you see it.
My dad was like that forever when he was still with me, and we'd watch Florida State games, and they'd score a touchdown, and he would he always had a brace of about 3 seconds looking, and he'd just be doing this number looking. It was about 3 seconds. You go, all right, let's go. Or whatever he would yell out. But if you charge ever, he didn't have to say anything. He just no. All right, no flags.
Go crazy.
And then, of course, if there was a flag, he would just assumed it was on us. And like, son of a, and I can't finish the rest. But yeah, Demaryius Thomas, sad news, and we wish the people around him well. And if you believe in things like heaven got one hell of a wide receiver added to the roster. I guess it was late last night. I guess is when it happened.
Correct.
He would have been 34 years old.
I think on Christmas Day.
Yeah, he's either born. It's right in that area, because I remember they said in about 2 weeks he would have been born. Yeah. It is Christmas Day, so sad stuff. Let's go ahead and move on a little bit. A Heisman Trophy. I know it's hard. It's never easy to transition out of that, but the Heisman Trophy is going to be given out this weekend. Was that 8:00 Eastern? Is that what it is?
Correct. On ABC.
I won't watch it. I haven't watched Heisman Trophy.
It's boring to me, honestly.
Balls. I mean, that thing, it used to be a very quick ceremony, and now they lean into it with the television. And so now what you end up with, I'm trying to find my remote so I can see what time here it is. How long that damn presentation is tomorrow. I think it's still just an hour, but it would not shock me in one iota if that thing is like 3 hours long, where they go through everybody's backstory. Talking about how he's a poor kid from Mississippi, walking up hills in the snow both ways. I'll tell you what's going to be brutal tomorrow, and maybe they'll just talk a lot about the playoffs and some upcoming bowl games. But College Game Day, I'm assuming they're probably in Philadelphia tomorrow to cover the Army-Navy game. But College Game Day tomorrow, it's 3 hours long. There's only one game on. 3 hours.
So we're going to get 3 hours of Georgia and Alabama talk.
I mean, you are. I'm not watching it.
Oh, I'm in Tampa. I'm in Tampa. I won't be watching.
This is the first time I've gotten to sleep in on a Saturday in quite some time. I am not getting up for anything major.
My brother and I started to think you were nocturnal.
Yeah, well, like I said, drink with me one time and you'll find out. But I'm doing the game tomorrow, by the way. Anyone that wants to tune into that, I'm doing the Army-Navy game tomorrow at 3:00. So I'm going to get up in time to prep for that, but I am not getting up for freaking Bobo. I mean, are you kidding me?
Don't do it.
It's going to be at 2.5 hours of some simpy backstories that they're going to do. I guarantee it. It's all going to start with some drawn out, Masters type of music. And he goes, Billy never thought he could walk again. He was 2 days old. And you're like, what? Wait, what? And they always find like the most ridiculous story to cover.
Like, don't turn it into a sob story. Come on now. It's bad enough you guys are on for 3 hours.
Okay, Heisman Trophy tomorrow, ESPN. It is just an hour. Okay. That is strange, because I thought for sure. And then they've got, I don't know what in the hell that is.
There's some weird scheduling going on where I think they got basketball and UFC, like between ABC, ESPN, they got a lot going on tomorrow.
They've got boxing coming on after.
Boxing, that's it.
boxing or maybe that's UFC. I don't know what
it's one of the two.
But they've got something where it's going to come on after the Heisman Trophy ceremony. So yeah,
not many people are watching ESPN tomorrow.
Yeah, it will not be on ABC at all. ABC's doing basketball tomorrow.
Oh, my apologies.
It's the same company. It's all
a bunch.
Yeah, it'll be an hour long. If you really want to watch, tune in about 10 minutes till the top of the hour, and they'll announce it around that time period. They'll do a very quick interview with the player that wins, and then that'll be it. So unless you want to,
no, it's Bryce Young, right?
They're good. They always give it to the guy who's on the number one ranked team in the country. If I'm going to of the guys that were actually invited, I'm giving my vote to the quarterback from Pittsburgh, to be perfectly honest with you.
Well, he's got a rule named after him now with the fake slide.
Yeah. Even with that being said, and I didn't like what he did there, and I thought it was,
I was interested in your take on that.
I am glad that the college football came in and changed the rule, although that rule essentially was already there. They just worded it differently. It was already essentially there. But I'm glad they came in and stepped into that, because what you were going to set up was a quarterback's going to get his head taken off. So I'm glad they did that. But even with that being said, I still think that he's had a more impressive year. He's not surrounded by 27 number one draft picks. And that's what everyone always tends to forget about these Alabama quarterbacks, receivers, et cetera, et cetera. Your job's a hell of a lot easier because of the guys that are around you. What say you?
Oh, let's just look at the history. I can't think of any quarterback that's came from Alabama that has made it to multiple Pro Bowls, to the Hall of Fame. And obviously now you could say, well, look at Mac Jones in New England. Okay, system-based rookie quarterback. Look, he only had to throw 3 passes last week. Great call by you and Tones, by the way. That was a lot of fun to listen to. But Alabama quarterbacks don't get the job done in the NFL. And the reason is why is because, like Max said, they're surrounded by people that go in the draft every year, whether it's offense or defense. They got a bunch of slobber knockers around them that are going high in the draft.
Yeah, it's to me, it's I just think it sucks, to be honest with you. I think the Heisman Trophy ceremony sucks nowadays, and there's no part of it that gets me excited about it. Even if there was a Florida State guy there, it may get me to watch it a little more, but the trophy doesn't mean what it meant 15 to 20 years ago. It's now just another trophy. And there used to be some absolutes about the Heisman, who you would and would not draft, who you would and would not vote for. Now it's all they do is vote for the guy on the team that's ranked the highest, or so it's pretty much become a rule that the team has to have made the playoffs. It's not an MVP. It's the Heisman Trophy. It's supposed to be the most outstanding player. It's even written in the trophy for the most outstanding player in college football, and that's not what they go for.
And let's be honest, at the end of the day, you're giving 4 playoff teams a chance. And I totally agree. That's how they do things here. Well, okay, you're either giving it to an SEC or Big Ten or ACC school at the end of the day. And you're not going to get these other conferences involved. Pick it. Hey, I agree with you. In terms of NFL stature, especially, the boys got the credentials. But it's just disappointing you can never get somebody to cross the picket line with the Heisman when they're at a lower level school.
Yeah, I don't even know if Pickett's going to be.
Who knows? Going
to be that great of a NFL quarterback. But my point is, I think he deserves the trophy. And if not, I'm telling you, I don't have even look. I know that he had the big game against Georgia, but he did not have a better season than C.J. Stroud. Bryce Young had a very good game against Georgia, but Georgia got, I don't know if that was all Bryce Young. I think Georgia just essentially got boat raced by a more talented offense. I don't think I would give it to Aiden Hutchinson. I think they just kind of gave that to him because he's had a very good year leading the Michigan defense, but I don't necessarily think that he's done anything spectacular to win the Heisman.
No, not at all. And
they have their own awards. They got the Outland trophies. They have all those, the lineman awards, defensive player awards. He'll be up for plenty of awards.
Oh yeah, and I mean the reason he's probably in there 17 years since Michigan's been in this type of big scene. So it's going to be interesting. I'm excited for that weekend, but we're still a couple away, my friends.
Yeah, you're looking at their numbers are pretty close to each other. What Pickett and what Young did, and with that being said, it's more impressive of that Pickett did it on a much worse team. Every time I watched a Pittsburgh game, he was trying to drive them down the field to win a game. He was not up 17 points, and he was usually running for his damn life. I mean, I don't know. I bet. Look, we all know they're going to give it to Young. Even more reason not to watch it.
I'm out on it.
And if anyone but Young wins it on Sunday, I'll admit with egg on my face that I was wrong. But I'm gonna tell you right now, ain't wrong, dude.
You are not wrong on this one.
Dude, literally, that's what they're doing. They are going to give it to him because he plays at Alabama. Used to, Alabama players couldn't win the damn thing. Now they can't. Now you can't win it if you don't go to Alabama. And it hasn't really shown for much. I mean, these Heisman Trophy winners normally don't do much in the pros. Let's go ahead and take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to reset and we're going to talk some NFL. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Keep it locked in here to CBS Sports Radio.
You come at the K, you best not miss.
Get your Sunday football morning started off right with the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Your Sunday morning kickoff show where we tackle your NFL lines out in the desert, a 61.2% win rate over the last 6 years. Against the spread, over, under, money line, you name it. And we dive into the world of fantasy football year-long and your DFS payouts. The only true Southern football kickoff show that talks the spreads in Vegas, your DFS and fantasy, in your year-long quest to win that fantasy football championship. Only on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel. It's the Handicappers on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube, 10 a.m. Eastern to noon Eastern. Sundays, all NFL season long.
I might audible, I'll use Omaha! Red Polly! Blue poncho! Dilly! Rambo! Give me Kershaw here, Kershaw!
You're listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Stop, Japan! Richmond, New York! Richmond, Florida! Cali, Buffalo! Hey, Short Ox! Luda Raiders! Omaha! I'm out!
And then a lot of states ended up having gay marriage and common law marriage, which I think is very confusing because what happens if you just end up with like two loser dudes sharing the same crappy apartment for a couple years? It's been known to happen. Both working part-time at the pizza place, hanging out every weekend. A few years goes by, boom, they're married. See them at a party, they're newlyweds. I didn't know Tony and Jim were gay. They're married now? When did they fall in love? They didn't. They just never got full-time jobs.
Take me out to the ball game.
Get caught up with the big stories from around the world in sports in just a few minutes. It's Take Me Out to the Ball Game today, weekdays. Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube. Baseball, football, basketball, whatever's trending in the world of sports, it's on Take Me Out to the Ball Game today in just a few minutes. It drops weekdays. Take Me Out to the Ball Game today on the Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube channel.
Take me out to the ball game.
This portion of the show is being brought to you by The Best Things in Life, which are still free with minimum purchase at participating dealers.
Saturday mornings, 8:30 Eastern. Dixie Football Nation is back and better than ever. We've got Tony Agolini, Matt Carr, Tones Ariola, Bobby and Angelo, along with Mac McGee this fall. Dixie Football Nation heads to the gridiron, talking ACC, SEC, the Big Ten, and all the big games throughout the college football land. That's Dixie Football Nation, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, Saturday mornings on the Armchair Quarterback Show's YouTube channel, going live. or catch the instant replay. Good evening. Friday. Happy hour. As we are back at it live once again. CBS Sports Radio. I believe in 3 different markets tonight is what they told me. And we are getting the Friday kicked off. Look, Justin is going to normally be here. He is in the middle of moving, and I did not know that was starting this weekend. I also did not know that y'all were going to be in Tampa this weekend. A lot of things. So this is a really bad weekend to start this. But typically Fridays, Justin will be here. We'll be here for about 2 hours. I know Joey's going to be here with me for about 90 minutes.
Yep.
And then that last half hour, I'm going to tend to try to do something different. When we get baseball back, it's going to be baseball wall to wall, on that last half hour. But until then, I'm going to try to hit some things up, maybe look at some gambling lines and whatnot. So got plenty of stuff to take us all the way through the football season. And obviously, look, when we get to the end of football season, if there is not any baseball going on, our hiatus may take a little longer than normal, because we normally take a couple of weeks off at the end of football season, try to recharge our batteries. But if there's no baseball on, I'm not coming in here and talking about the NBA and NHL with still 30 games to play and everyone who can walk forward can make the playoffs. So we're going to kind of play that by ear. But until then, Fridays, we will be here, Friday happy hour show, and away we go. And then we will continue to do the Sunday game, the Sunday morning show, and we'll continue to bring you live games tomorrow. I've got the play-by-play for Army Navy, doing that there was a lot of requests for it on our inbox, folks that are stationed overseas, trying to get some folks to stop by for a few minutes. But regardless, I'm going to bring the game to you, because I think it would be a nice thing to give back to the men and women who are not able to, there's a misnomer that folks think that they can just get a hold of their armed forces radio no matter where they're at. It's not as simple as that, but most of them have devices that can pick up YouTube. So there you go. All right. Where are we at here? McCarthy, your boy Mike McCarthy.
Wait, why is he my boy? Why is he my boy?
What's he doing? He's guaranteeing a victory in Washington.
I think Mike McCarthy has said it at least 3 times, and he sounds least confident every time he says it. It's one of the worst guarantees I think I've ever seen.
I will say this, a number I did not know. Since he's been there, they're 6-1 against the Washington football team. That's a pretty good track record. If you're going to pick a club to say that, hey, we're going to beat them, pick the team you're 6-1 against. So
I'll give that to. I mean, hey, it's a big game this weekend. If Dallas wins this one, division race is over. So, hey, put all the cards on the table against the opponent you feel good against. See what happens.
Even if they lose it, I don't think that they're in danger of.
Probably not.
Just because Dallas, look, right now, if you look at it, they got a 2-game lead. Now, to your point, 2 games in the loss column. Was it 3 games against Philly, right? Isn't that where Philly is? Aren't they 6 and? Let me double check on that.
Is Philly 6-7, I believe?
Yeah. Philly 6-7, and of course they've got the weekend off. So if Dallas were to win, that would give them a 3-game lead on both Washington and Philly. And then if you look at what Dallas has left on the schedule, they do play Washington one more time, but it'll be in Dallas. They are at the Giants. They're at home against the Cardinals, and they're at the Eagles. Not the easiest road but I have to figure they're going to beat Washington in Washington. I don't know if they'll win this weekend, but they're going to beat Washington in Washington, assuming everyone's healthy and all that noise. I feel like, I mean, do you really think that if they lose this weekend, they're going to go back-to-back losses against the Giants?
No.
The Giants are brutal, and I like the Giants. I've been pulling for the Giants for a long time as a kid. I like them better when they were the old school 1980s helmets, but they, those NY helmets suck. But I'll go see Giants.
I agree. Hey, the Jason Sehorn, I remember that Super Bowl against Baltimore. Those are, I mean, you're even talking longer ago, obviously, but those jerseys were much better. And I'm usually a Giants fan.
They were wearing those terrible helmets in that Super Bowl.
Really?
Yes. It pissed me off. They changed them around mid to late 90s. It sucks. They won the Super Bowls with against the Bills and against the Broncos in the old school ones that say just I've got that somewhere here in my studio.
I was going to say I've seen it before.
I've got the old Giants helmet somewhere because I refused to buy the NY one, and I found the one that said Giants, and I immediately went out there and got that. I remember I had a buddy, man, drinking buddy years ago. And we used to talk about all the time. But and he wasn't a Giants fan. I liked them for NFC, not over Tampa, but I would pull for them, right?
Right.
And he asked me one day when we were drinking beers, at this bar and everything, because I can remember saying, he goes, "Why the hell do you like the Giants?" I was like, "Dude, their helmet." He goes, "That helmet, man." He goes, "It just says Giants. We're here." I was like, "Exactly."
Enough said after that.
And they went to the NY, and the NY is not even a strong NY. At least the Yankees NY is a strong NY.
It's like cursive, lazy, undercase.
It's lowercase. It's almost like they're ashamed to be from New York. I don't like it. Even the Washington football team has a better logo than they do at this point. Just W,
I'll take it.
But back to the races, and then we're going to get into some of these spreads. I believe that you're looking at if they get the W, the division's over. Even if they lose, I still think they're going to stumble their way in. It may not be they're not going to get a bye. We know that.
Oh no,
Arizona's not going to falter that badly. Maybe the Bucks could catch them, but the Cowboys aren't catching them. So at worst, or actually at best, I think the Cowboys are going to be the 4 seed.
I would agree with that. I mean, they're kind of in that. I don't want to say no man's land.
Division leaders. Do you think that they're going to? You think they're going to have a better record than Green Bay?
No.
Tampa?
No.
Arizona?
No.
They're the 4 seed.
Yep.
Best case scenario. So I think they're going to. I've actually got a friendly wager with our buddy Carr. We made it several weeks ago. He said they would win a bare minimum of a 12 game. So his Cowboys can only lose one more game, and then after that, they got to win out.
And honestly, they could have it wrapped up by week 17. Might not need that less, or 18.
Dude, that's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on at the end of the season. Nothing's going to be going on. They're going to be I figure they're going to go out with like a 10-7 record and get ready for the playoffs. Let's go ahead and look at the other games. There are some good games this weekend. And I will say this, NFL or college football, whichever one, you've dropped the ball, man. I get it that we give Saturday afternoon to Army Navy on this weekend. And I'm totally in favor of that. You can't put one NFL game on Saturday night.
And to alleviate the pain from Bears Packers that we have to watch on Sunday night. Like, come on.
Yeah, why wasn't that not flexed? But it doesn't matter what it is. Put it on. We're going to watch it.
Honestly, you could, I could, like Ravens Browns are at 1 o'clock. You could have thrown that at the night game. You could have thrown Cowboys Washington. That's a 1 o'clock game. You could have thrown 49ers. I mean, come on, Bills Bucks. There's so many opportunities.
Hey, I don't anything.
Yes.
Jaguars Titans. Who cares? It's something you could bet on.
It's NFL. Yeah, I'm with you.
All right, let's get into the lines. Give me your first lock of the weekend.
Yeah, I usually don't go too much into over-unders, but today I actually see myself pedaling across a couple. I'm going to take the over in Giants-Chargers. It's at 43. And I know the Giants offense are going to say, well, they don't have Daniel Jones. Yes, I know that. But the Chargers by themselves could be able to put up 30-plus points. And to me, if they do that, Giants will get away to score one touchdown, get about 14 points. So I like the over in Giants-Chargers. Chargers doing most of the damage, though.
So the over sitting at 43 right now. You're going to take the over. They did say that they do believe Glennon will play.
And I think on the other side of things, I think Mike Williams will for sure play, and Keenan Allen will be a game time decision based off negative tests.
By the way, if folks have missed it, Jamal Williams is under COVID protocol. Now, I haven't gotten the full report on whether or not he's definitely got it or whatever the hell it is, but he's going to have to test negative tomorrow and Sunday to be able to play. So doubtful that he's going to play. And of course, they're already down DeAndre Swift. And of course, the question is, well, what running back should I pick up? Man, I don't know if you should, to be honest with you. I think that might be a lost cause. That you go out there and you stream, in one league, I picked up one of the backups because if this thing goes on for another week, because I don't have to win in that league to make the playoffs. So I'm not starting him anyways, but I'm just seeing how things progress. But I don't, man, look, if it's week 13 and you need this, or I'm sorry, this is week 14, and you need this win to make the playoffs, I don't know if I'm starting the third string running back of the Detroit Lions in Denver against the Broncos defense.
I was going to say that Denver seals it off for me.
All right, my first pick of the weekend, my lock, Washington football team is getting 4.5 points at home, and the Cowboys are talking smack. And I'm going to say that the Washington covers, and they might damn near win the game, but I like to have that 4.5 in my pocket. That's a big spread. I get it.
Huge.
But that is a big spread on the road in a rivalry game. So I think that is my I've actually already taken that line. So
book it.
What is your next pick?
Once again, I'm going to hit another over-under, but on this side, I'm going to take the under in a low over-under already. That's Baltimore at Cleveland. The over-under is 42.5. These offenses are just pretty much anemic right now at this point. Baltimore doesn't have a running game outside of Lamar, and really his throwing has been subpar, as we've seen from the 2-point conversion in last game. And Cleveland just hasn't been able to figure it out. I know they're getting a little healthier in the backfield with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, but I see this being one of those ugly games, especially if weather's ugly, which right now it says 44, so not too bad, but I could see this being one of those 20-17 games. So I'm going to take the under in Browns Ravens 42.5.
All right. Browns, Baltimore
42.5.
under 42. I do think Cleveland gets the W.
I could see that as well. I was speaking on that.
They've played really well at home. And I grabbed them this afternoon. The money line was only around like minus 135. It's climbed since then, but the money line was only minus 135, and I went ahead and grabbed that. My next one that I'm going to take, give me the Arizona Cardinals minus 2.5 at home against the Rams. I believe the Cardinals get the W and that they can clear that 2.5 point spread.
And at that point, you got to figure that division would pretty much be a wrap, correct? If Arizona wins that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rams would go to 8-5. It'd be over.
Yeah. Because 8-5 to 10-2. And we're talking about with what, 4 games left. And didn't they already? Yeah. They already beat the Rams.
Yeah. So, I mean, and
their magic number would be 1 with 4 games left. So yeah, it's over.
Yeah, that'd be a toss.
So, I did see that Edmonds was practicing. I don't know if he's going to play, but he is practicing. But regardless, I think I'm looking forward to that game, by the way. And if I would have known that game, was I don't know, it somehow it slipped under my radar, but I probably would have tried to do that game, but not able to do that. So,
well, you know why you should look forward to it, because if you look forward at
never mind. I know I couldn't do the game. Never mind. I got something planned on Monday night. I remember now.
No,
that would have gotten me in the dog. That would have got me in the doghouse for sure. Monday night was my wife's birthday.
Hey, there you go. Perfect.
She comes home and I'm and around the right side, and he dies for the first time. So I thought we were going to dinner.
No steak and lobster for you.
Guys, we'll be right back. Let's go. All right. What is your next pick?
Yeah, my last pick of the three. I'm gonna, you know what? Even though I hate to do this because division rival and they're ahead of us, but Titans coming off a bye week, they're giving 8.5. Jaguars are just so bad, and the Titans. I feel like a lot of people kind of forgot about them, and hey, maybe a little bit so without Derrick Henry. But I think the Titans bounce back in Nashville this weekend and pounce on the Jaguars.
Wow, I didn't realize it had dropped down to 8.5. It was around 10 this morning.
Oh yeah, anything under 10, I'm taking that all day.
Yeah, I actually did a parlay on money lines of teams that are heavily favored of Tennessee, the Broncos, and the Chargers. All they have to do is win, and I want to say it's just over. I want to say paying out. God, I wish I had it in front of me, but paying out almost 1-to-1. It's either a little higher or a little lower. So, I mean, those just seem like gimmies. All three of them are at home. All three of them are going up against questionable quarterback play, and that was before the Jamal Williams news broke.
Yeah, I mean, first off, 2 of those games are 10-point spreads right there. Giants, obviously, as we know, don't really have a good quarterback going. And then on the other side of things, if you're going to Detroit, I know they just came off a win, but in Mile High, I don't like the odds there either.
My last pick, give me the Raiders getting 10.5, and they are at home. No, I'm sorry. It's in KC. They're in KC. Getting 10.5. I know the Chiefs have been playing better, and I know the Raiders have been playing poorly. But the Raiders tend to play well against the Chiefs, and they did not play well against them the first time out. And I think that is going to be a sticking point. You might want to wait to see if Darren Waller is going to play, but if he doesn't play, the line's probably just going to go up. And when they pounded them last year in Kansas City, they did it on the ground. Did you see Josh Jacobs?
Is he the new Antonio Cromartie?
Dude, he just announced he's got a 9th kid through 8 different women on the way. What the hell?
I thought at first
that's not a time to go ahead and snip it. When is?
I thought at first Phillip Rivers was impressive, but at least he kept it in the same household. Woo! All over the world, nationwide, Josh Jacobs.
Dude is going to be broke. I mean, broke as a 1970 television set in about 5 years. There ain't going to be no fixing him.
No, sir.
Because his career's going downhill already, so he's not going to continue to make buku of bucks. And they are just going to absolutely stomp his checkbook.
Yeah, no, I mean, first off, the Raiders have enough of their own issues, but I'm not going to say that's an issue for Josh Jacobs, but it's definitely not something.
Get this. How did it get this bad? Why didn't someone at some point around, I don't know, kid 4 or 5 with 4 or 5 women go up and say, bro, stop it. You're going to be broke.
He went to, you know how you always talk about the prom and picking up that one chick? He must have done that a few too many times.
Dude, stop it. I mean, what are you doing?
Save some for the earth.
Snip it, buddy.
Neuter.
Do something. God bless.
Get it going, my friend.
He better hope every damn one of them is a high-paid athlete.
Yeah, because he's going to need a lot of that money back someday.
I will say this: he's got enough kids to at least start his own band. So there is that. Dude, he's going to have to come out there and God bless 9th kid That's bad enough. Through 8 different mothers. And you know they're not all cordial. What is your walk-off for the day?
I don't even know if I could walk off, laugh off, but honestly, at the end of the day, it's a Friday evening. Hey, enjoy it. Sleep in tomorrow, people. Is unless you're going to listen to Army Navy pregame for the next 12 straight hours, take a chill pill, relax, and get in for Sunday football because we have a lot of good things ahead. And you and Tones have a game coming up on the schedule? Is that something that's scheduled?
We've got one on December 23rd, so that's a couple of weeks away.
Okay.
We haven't talked yet about doing other ones yet, so I'll probably get with them. We're probably going to look at the bowl picture and see what we can squeeze in. With our 2 schedules and stuff. But yeah, we're definitely planning on it. We just haven't gotten to one yet.
And I love the umpire hat, by the way. I'm going to end on that note. That's old school. That's an OG hat right there.
Well, it's you probably can't make it out, but it's actually military.
Okay.
Fatigue, and wearing it because of the Army Navy is the closest thing that I had to it that would fit with that. These are the unis that they're gonna use on tomorrow. That's the Navy and that's the Army unis.
Really?
Now I wish I had a better picture of the Army one. I think the Navy one comes across pretty good. The Army one,
I was gonna say I really like that Navy one.
The helmet's pretty cool, but I didn't get a really good close up of it. But the color, man, the thing about the Army color, it damn near looks like Texas, doesn't it?
Yeah, but that Navy one, ooh, that pops. I'm a big fan.
Yeah,
but you're right. The Army one,
I do think Army's going to pound them, but I won't make a prediction on them because look, I've watched Navy play a couple of times this year, and I've watched Army play a couple of times this year. Navy's defense has not been good, but we'll see. Here's an interesting fact before you leave.
Absolutely.
The last 15 Army Navy, every single one of them have something in common against the spread. Do you know what that is? Not 14 out of 15, not 13, 15 out of 15 of the Army Navy games have gone under.
Oh, I went the wrong way. I just assumed it'd be so low.
How crazy is that?
That is insane.
Over under tomorrow is 34.5.
Oh my! You think? What do you think?
But if you go by history, you've got to put money on the under. I think Army could score 28 by themselves. But Navy does eat up a lot of clock. It's got a lot to do with why Army and Navy never hits the over, is that both teams churn the ball up. But it's interesting. Right now, the prediction is 21-14 is how the books have it.
You're gonna have to get creative tomorrow. Some bam woos eyes on some non-touchdown calls.
Crazy. How nervous would you be to put $100 or whatever on the 34.5, and I'll take the under?
No, I'm not going to sit there all game rooting for that.
I got to tease the hell out of that, dude. I can't sit there at 34 and I'm going, it'll be fine.
Tease it to 32, take the over.
What a smart professional gambler would do, they would lay the money down and not even watch the damn game because it would drive you too crazy.
This is the day you take your lady out and get back at it Sunday.
Yep. All right, brother. We will see you on Sunday for the handicappers. And
absolutely.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I've got some stuff to talk about with the Hall of Fame. The new the new inductees were announced, and then they had the new ballot coming up. So we're going to talk about that. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks Happy Hour here on a Friday, baby. Friday evening.
The Eagle has landed. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
You're riding Morning Shotgun with the Armchair Quarterbacks. We're here weekdays, your first choice for sports talk here on the First Coast.
Armchair Quarterback Radio. We cover the world of baseball from start to finish.
Baerga is 0 for 3. Left center field. Grissom on the run. The team of the 90s has its world championship. A liner off Maggie's goal in the center field. Series. Gracious. Fittingly with a throw, the Yankees have done it again. Number 24. They are the world champions of baseball in 1998. Chance of a lifetime for Luis Gonzalez. 2-2, bottom of the ninth, game 7 of the World Series. Bases loaded. Red Sox fans have longed to hear it. The Boston Red Sox are world champions. In the air to left, well hit. Back is Craig. What a team. What a ride. The Cardinals are world champs.
Armchair.
You wouldn't believe how many guys wanted to play here. We had to beat them off with a stick. The Tech Cobb wanted to play. None of us could stand the son of a when we were alive, so we told him to stick it.
Anyone got a stapler? I've got a lot of forms, and there's a slight breeze in here.
Because paperwork is dramatic. Catch it Thursdays on Weasel before it catches you.
If dating is the game, then marriage is winning the game.
Yeah, if you're playing in the women's league.
It's important to remember the value of taking time for ourselves to do the things that help us grow and explore, like learning something new. And now with the Great Courses Plus, it's never been easier to experience the joys of learning. The Great Courses Plus offers thousands of streaming videos that cover hundreds of fascinating topics, from World War II to choosing the perfect wine. You can even take a course on the U.S. government or dealing with stress and anxiety. And because the Great Courses Plus partners with world-class professors and experts, you're always receiving thoroughly vetted, high-quality content from every lecture. Plus, you can watch or listen anytime, anywhere with the Great Courses Plus app. So take a little time for you. Sign up for the Great Courses Plus today for a free month of unlimited access. Visit thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio to get started. That's thegreatcoursesplus.com/radio.
Clean. I mean, really clean. And it holds any thought I want.
She always seems to find me out. I cannot like the ever scare. Fall out spells, I'll just be a laugh. Rough 3 times I come right out. Rough 3 times I come right out. Rough 3 times I come right out. Rough 3 times I come right out.
Welcome back. Happy hour with the Armchair Quarterbacks. And we are back rolling here on CBS Sports Radio. Got a little more longer to go with you. We're going to bring you all the way to the bottom of the hour where we're going to hand it off, and they'll take it from there on these local affiliates. A couple things to get into before we do take off. As Fridays are always a busy day, right? Always a busy day. Looking at some of the things that are going to be going on in the world of sports. First of all, really quick tonight, it's kind of a rough night for sports, but you do have the NBA, and you've got a couple of games of interest. They're going to be going down on ESPN tonight. Brooklyn and Atlanta are playing. The Nets are at the Hawks. Nets are getting 2 points. And tonight, later on ESPN, the Celtics +4 at Phoenix. So you have that going on in the world of the NBA. And you've got some other games, but there's not anything really that really jumps out at you as far as a great contest. Maybe if you're in Dallas, Indiana, that's a 7-10 tip. So that's pretty much what you got going on in the NBA. It's kind of a slow night when it comes to sports. Now, as far as the NHL is concerned, you got Penguins and Capitals, and that puck drops at 7:05 tonight. Rangers, who've been playing really well, obviously, they are at the Sabres, 7:08, and the Predators are at the Devils. That is a 7:35 beginning to that one. And if you're looking for a late night game, one of some interest, later, Florida Panthers They are at the Arizona Coyotes, and that is a 9:08 beginning to that game. So there you have that with the NHL and the NBA, and we go on to the National Football League. I just want to take a look at a couple of other lines before we jump into some Hall of Fame talk. And a couple of the other lines that jump out at me that I do like. One of my favorite teasers of the weekend is a 6 or 7 point teaser, however you want to do it. I'm taking it down to a 7-point teaser and doing the Buccaneers, which will give me 3.5, and the Packers only -6. And I think that's a really good teaser to play on. I talked about some of my other parlays. Look, I like Cleveland on the money line. I like Cincinnati on the money line. Las Vegas, the Raiders, their team total is only 19.5. 19.5. To me, that's pretty low. I think they will definitely clear that. And the Seattle-Houston game, these are two defenses that are not that outstanding. That over-under is only sitting at 40.5. That's not a high score in the National Football League. And I think Seattle will probably score in the mid to high 20s, which means Houston's only got to score 3 times. And so that over is very enticing to me. People normally get scared off by the teams with the bad records, but there's usually a reason why they have bad records. It's usually because their defense stinks, and both of these defenses are not very good. So that's what you have there. Once again, going over the Army-Navy game, the number on that. So the line is now down to 7. It was 7.5 this morning. The over-under is now 35. It will probably climb. So wait to see how high you can get it. Like I said, 15 times in a row, the Army-Navy game has gone under. That's an insane stat. And you don't have another college game until next Friday. The bowl season begins. Toledo and Middle Tennessee State will be at noon. I don't know why in the hell they're playing it that damn early, but Toledo and Middle Tennessee State is slated to play at noon next Friday. And then at 6:00 next Friday, it's the the Cure Bowl at Camping World Stadium in Orlando. That'll be Coastal Carolina and Northern Illinois. That's at 6 p.m. A little strange that you have such early starts, but especially on a Friday, it's got to be difficult to get people to watch that. And I was looking, I don't see another bowl game on that day. So I really don't understand why in the world they're playing a game at noon on Friday and 6 p.m. on Friday, and then you're going to have nothing on Friday evening. But Saturday, the 18th, we are planning on doing a show on Saturday, next Saturday, a week from tomorrow, excuse me. And we're planning on we're probably going to do it late morning. I got to get with the guys to find out what time that they could all join in. But we're going to do a bowl show. And there's several bowl games that day. In fact, there's NFL games that day too. But we're probably going to focus on the bowl games that will take place later on, because we're going to drop that show on Saturday in something that if you don't get a chance to watch it next Saturday, you can go back and watch it a few times, because people get really busy. In fact, the day that we're going to do that show, I'm hosting a boatload of people over here that Saturday night. We're doing some fun stuff over here. But anyways, realistically, next weekend is when most people are going to be doing Christmas parties and all that kind of stuff. So that's going to be it's going to be rougher to get things done And it's always fun when Christmas lands on the weekend, but honestly, I think it's better when it doesn't. I think it's better when Christmas lands in the middle of the week because you get that extra day off. When you get it on a Saturday, then you're going to have that day off anyways, most people. So you don't gain anything out of that. It kind of sucks. And then it also kind of pigeonholes you on when the next, okay, let's, for instance, if Christmas was on a Tuesday, you would have the 9 days before that Saturday to do Christmas parties. You'd also have the few days before the actual, so like the 22nd or the 23rd or whatever. When it lands on a Saturday, which this year it is, when it lands on a Saturday, it jumps on you quick. You don't get those extra days to be able to plan stuff. So, but yeah, that's what we're planning on doing. We're planning on doing a Dixie Football Nation. We're basically going to do the entire bowl schedule and call it a day on that. I don't think it's going to be possible for us to be able to do a college football championship show because that is taking place on a Friday and the first game is at 3:30 Eastern. And most of us don't get off work until 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, which means we would be coming on in the middle of the Cincinnati, Alabama game. So that's the scuttlebutt on that. And we move on. All right. So the Hall of Fame. Now there were from the Legends Committee, from the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, there were several guys that were inducted in a few days ago. And some people have pushed back on some of them, and some of like, I'm not going to get into this. They're in. There's a reason why they're in. The Gil Hodges, the Jim Cotts, Minnie Minosa, Tony Oliva. There's some of them that you can poke holes in, but the problem is baseball's been around for 150 years plus. And when you start getting guys back who played 70, 80 years ago, the game has changed. You cannot take their number and put it up against other numbers. You just can't. Like, for instance, people looked at Gil Hodges and just thought it was terrible. Oh man, home runs, 370, blah, 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 blah. The guy was a very integral part of a very good Brooklyn Dodgers team that competed for championships and won a championship for years. Most people feel like it was people that watched him during that time period believe it was well overdue. There are a couple of knuckleheads out there. They're going to tell you didn't deserve it. They're wrong. Because all they do is they want to peel back war. Well, the war was this. The War 7 was that. The Jaws, the J-Pos, the WOBA. Bunch of dorks that don't know the game. That's all it is. I can tell you this from listening to my grandfather for years, my mom, my dad, who all watched that period of time. They loved Gil Hodges. And when I sent the text to my mom, who was a diehard Brooklyn Dodgers fan back in the day, I sent her the text that said Gil Hodges got into the Hall of Fame. Her first text back was this: "It's about time." And I agree. Gil Hodges, look, you can pick apart anyone's numbers, but Gil Hodges, Jim Cott for that matter. A lot of people go out there and want to rip Jim Cott apart because he wasn't a 300-game winner back in the time period where 300-game winners were kind of, that was the gold standard. Was you had to be, he won 283 games. Yeah, he lost a lot of games. He had a 3.45 ERA over his entire career. His whip was 1.25. He was a very, very good pitcher. He wasn't an all-timer. He's not Mount Rushmore pitcher, but he was a very good pitcher for a long time. When you have, if my math is correct here, 520 decisions over your career, You pitch for a long ass time. Anyone whose WAR is in the 50 range usually gets the nod if all the other numbers load up. And his WAR's 50.5. But let's get into this year's ballot. Let's get into the guys that are on the active ballot, because I'm sorry, but if you're going to put Harold Baines in, you can't complain about Gil Hodges. But let's talk about the guys who are on the ballot now. Now I'm going to rattle off all the names to you that are relevant. I mean, my God, there are 30 names actually on the ballot, but sorry, I'm counting it up. There's 13 first year. A-Rod is a first year. Feels like he's been out of the game much longer than that. He is a first year ballot guy. David Ortiz is a first year ballot guy. I'm not voting for either one of them because of their steroids. Now, David Ortiz, I give a little more of a pass to because he wasn't a repeat offender. And he didn't seem like he was yoked up in the same manner as some of the other guys. I think he might have been taking something he wasn't aware of what he was taking, kind of thing. But because of that, I'm not voting David Ortiz in on the first ballot. It's my right. I wouldn't do it if I had the vote. That's just the way I feel about it. He's got to sit out a year for me. Now, and I know there's going to be enough people who are going to vote him to where he's not going. He does not have any chance of not making the ballot next year because he doesn't get the, what is he allotted? 5% that you have to have. 5% is the cutoff. If you don't get 5%, you don't get in. The other first ballot guys, Mark Teixeira, I doubt he gets any major votes. Jimmy Rollins, Carl Crawford, Jake Peavy, Justin Moreau, AJ Przynski, Ryan Howard, Papelbon, Linscomb, Joe Nathan, Prince Fielder. These are all guys with good, solid careers. I'm not voting them in the Hall of Fame. It's okay to not be a Hall of Fame player and still be one hell of a player. I'm not voting Tim Hudson in. This is his second year. Torrey Hunter, his second year. But I will tell you this. The way I'm looking at this is Andrew Jones is in his fifth year. And for everyone that pushes back and says that Andrew Jones belongs in the Hall of Fame, he's very similar to Torrey Hunter in the mindset that their overall numbers, Andrew Jones does surpass him, by the way. But when you look at their career, Torrey Hunter, in argument's sake, was a better player for a longer period of time. Now, Andrew Jones was a phenomenal player for about a 9-10 year stretch, and then he fell off the cliff like no one else. That's why I wouldn't have him in. I'm only voting guys in that I think deserve to be in the Hall of Fame. I'm not doing like some of these guys. I see them and they put their ballots out there and they say, look, I'm going to vote for them because I want to, and they use all, because you can vote up to 10 guys and they use all 10 ballots. You can't tell me there's 10 guys on this list that deserve votes. Not if you take the steroids into consideration. If you're going to throw the steroids out the window, then you got to vote Bonds in. You got to vote Clemens, A-Rod, David Ortiz. They all go in. Sammy Sosa, Manny Ramirez, they all go in. But this is my list of guys that are on the current ballot that I think are worthy of an actual vote. Jeff Kent, which is absurd. This is his 9th year. And he's only got 32% of the votes. That is absurd. Jeff Kent was the best second baseman of his time period. Jeff Kent's WAR, we talked about the cutoff on WAR is usually around 50. You don't want to vote for a guy who's much lower than 50. 55.5 was his WAR. He was a second baseman who was not in the steroid argument, a second baseman who had almost 400 home runs. He had 1,500 RBI. He had an OPS of 855 over his career. That is phenomenal. The fact that Jeff Kent isn't in yet is absurd. Curt Schilling is in his final year, and it's a political thing. The reason why Curt Schilling has been shunned, it's an asinine thing. Remember, you need 75% of the vote. He got 71.1 last year. This is his 10th and final year. After that, it's going to go to the Veterans Committee. The guy was phenomenal. And on the biggest stage, he stepped up the biggest. Was there anyone better in the world? What he did with the Arizona Diamondbacks, him and Randy Johnson pulled that franchise across the finish line to beat the New York Yankees. An all-time team. They beat it wasn't, what was a team effort? No, Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson beat the New York Yankees. The two of them pitch. I mean, it was literally spawn insane and pray for rain. It was Schilling and Johnson and duck for cover. So I'm putting Schilling in, and it's not even close. The bloody sock, I know some people think that it was overhyped. It really wasn't. What he did with the bloody sock incident, Curt Schilling was the embodiment of that Red Sox championship team. Tough as nails, and he was a guy you wanted on the hill. That's always my number one thing. If I'm voting a starting pitcher in, or pitcher period, to the Hall of Fame, do I want him on the hill in a big moment? You damn right I want Curt Schilling on there. My fourth guy, Omar Vizquel. He's not even get fit. He got 49.1% last year. Now he's in his fifth year. He might continue to rise, whatever. He's arguably the best glove to ever play shortstop. And if you don't know that, it's because you never watched. You never watched the Cleveland Indians in the late 90s, early 2000s. You think the Wizard of Oz was unreal? It's not even close. Omar Vizquel was the greatest shortstop, defensive shortstop that I have ever seen, and it's not even close. And there's been some really good ones. Really good ones. But they're not Omar Vizquel. And he's being punished because he was coming out of an era and into the steroid era, and he did not do the steroids. He got there on his glove. And he is a guy, his WAR is over 45. Your WAR is anywhere close to 50. It's right around 50. It's usually, all right, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt. He was not a great batter. I'll give you that. But I'll tell you what he did do. He was a magician with the glove, and he had 400 stolen bases, over 1,000 walks. He found a way to get on base. Omar Vizquel is my number 3. My number 4, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing, now look, it's only his 4th year, but Todd Helton at 44.9% last year. Todd Helton, lifetime 316 batting average. Todd Helton, 953 OPS. A 953 OPS. And we're debating on whether or not he should be in the Hall of Fame. And he did it the right way. 369 home runs. He was a power hitter, but he didn't go for the downs every time. 1,400 RBIs. Unbelievable that this guy cannot get in to the Hall of Fame. And they keep saying, well, it's because he played in Colorado and, you can't vote the guy from Colorado. Then don't put a team in Colorado. If you're going to hold it against a guy, then don't put him there. He played his entire career there. Don't put him there. Don't put a team there. Take him out. Make it illegal to play baseball in the state of Colorado. But until you do that, shut the hell up about not letting Todd Helton in because he played. You think he could control who drafted him? And oh, by the way, he was Peyton Manning's backup at the University of Tennessee playing quarterback. What might have been, right? The famous interview you always see of Todd Helton, where he was saying he didn't know if he wanted to play baseball or if he wanted to play football. And the first day of practice out in Knoxville, he saw Peyton Manning throw, and he said, "Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm a baseball player. I don't think I'm a quarterback." Little did he know Peyton Manning would end up being one of the greatest to ever play. All right, let's go ahead and turn back time and get the hell on out of here. As this is first time we've done this in a while. Like I said, we'll be here every Friday, 5 p.m. Eastern, normally with Justin, Joey, and we're going to see if some of the other guys will jump on with us, but that's for another day and another topic. All right, here we go. I haven't done this in a while. I got to find the buttons. All right. Tell I haven't done this in a while. I meant to turn the music down and turn my headphones down. On this date, 1922, the first NFL championship was crowned. It was the Canton Bulldogs. They were undefeated. Everyone always talks about the undefeated Dolphins. Now, they did have two ties, 10-0-2, but the Canton Bulldogs, which of course is where the Hall of Fame is in Canton, Ohio, they were your first NFL champion in 1922. 2 years later, Major League Baseball in 1924 agrees to the rotating home field advantage. And of course, for decades, it was the odd number was the American League, the even number was the National League. That would take place until the early 2000s. I want to say 2003, 2004, when they switched it because of the Bud Selig rule, because of the All-Star game. And now when they got rid of the All-Star rule, it is now done by the best overall record. I kind of liked, the way I look at it is this. I liked the idea of the All-Star game deciding it because it made the All-Star game something you would want to watch. And it was fun. And like the whole team got into it. But if you're going to take that away, I kind of like to go back to rotating. Why not? Because you don't play the same teams. You can't compare the two teams. And you're only talking about one game that it changes. That's why I'm in favor of the All-Star game, because it gives you the idea that it gives you this big advantage, and it really doesn't. It really doesn't. I think, honestly, it's better to play as the road team in this World Series. We saw it in Atlanta, where you got to go in and split the first couple of games, and then you go back home for 3 consecutive games. You can end the series. Now, they didn't end the series, but they put their foot on their neck and took a 3-2 lead. They came back to Houston, and the Astros were like, we got to win both of these games. Puts a lot of pressure on. So I would like to see them go back to the All-Star game deciding it, but it doesn't sound like it's ever going to, and that really sucks. Another reason why, Manfred's just a man fraud. All right, birthdays. It's your birthday. How about this one? Remember this man very well from Chicago, Illinois, but he's known in Detroit Pistons and Dallas Maverick circles. Mr. Mark Aguirre is 62 years young today. So happy birthday, Mark Aguirre. Hell of a forward. And they never should have got rid of him. Never should have got rid of him. Stupidest thing they did. Glad they did. I was not a Pistons fan, but Joe Burrow, 25 years old today. 2019 Heisman Trophy winner. And then, of course, won the national championship and the MVP in the 2019 season, the 2020 national championship, because obviously it's played in January. All right, that's going to do it for us. Have a great weekend. We're glad to be back live on the radio, and we are be back Sunday for the handicappers. And, of course, my walk-off is please tune in to tomorrow's ball game. I'm going to bring you the Army-Navy game, and we're doing it for the folks overseas and give them a chance to enjoy the game as just try to give something back. We hope to get some quite a few folks to help me out with it. We'll see what happens. But I think it's the least armchair quarterbacks can do to say thank you to the men and women overseas. All right. See you tomorrow, 3:00 kickoff. We'll be here. We'll set up shop a little earlier than that. And then Sunday, the handicappers at 10 a.m. Have a great one.
It's Friday, working stiffs. Everybody.
4, 3, 2, 1. Happy weekend! Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, your first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.
Can I get another cigarette, please? Can I get another cigarette, please? Yeah, I know.